Hello, televiewers. Welcome to today's edition of Prime Hour on My Media Prime. This evening, we're going to be asking you to tell us what you think about the relationship that exists between teachers and their students. We're talking about love relationship. It is no news that there are teachers who go out with their students. What do you make about it? And also the phenomenon where people are cohabiting for more than 5 years, having children without going to see the parents of the lady, and not also going to be blessed in church. What are your thoughts with that? We are discussing these two topics with our panelists who are in the house already. Apostle Nsungkikang Alfred is here with us. He is an expert in the domain. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Leo, and good evening, Reverend Tatoh. We are happy to be here again today to do justice to what we know how to do best. I want to say that what we're going to tell you is the frank things. Sometimes, you know, we are not journalists. Journalists have the way they will put things, but we are just talking based on experience and expertise. Okay.
We're also in the company of Reverend Tatoh, who is also an expert in the domain of this marital relationship amongst other issues. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo. Happy new month to you and to our televiewers. Happy new month and greetings to Apostle Nsungkikang. It is such a privilege and a wonderful opportunity for us to be on again this evening, and I believe after we have shared, there's going to be edification.
Mrs. Asanji Yvette is going to be taking part in this edition of the program from Bamenda, Northwest Regional Capital. From time to time, we're going to be calling on her to share in our discussion. But I start with you, Apostle Alfred Nsungkikang. Now, teacher-student relationship, we're talking about a love relationship. What are your thoughts with that?
Yeah, it's really a pity that so many young boys run into this whole thing, and women too, young girls, run into the teaching profession without the passion for teaching and without the ethics of teaching. So because of that, they find themselves giving out their emotions to students. The women teachers go after boys in school, and the male teachers go after ladies in school. It's obvious. It's everywhere. Like I saw it in a part in Tico there. I saw it's so common. It's so common where teachers share, you know, their frustration. They want to satisfy their frustration, but on students. You know, after they have given them a salary of about 40,000 francs, or maybe they have not been able to give them money. So what you do, one small student bring food for you and that kind of a thing, before you discover you are having an affair with those students. And obviously it doesn't go for one, because you know you have so many young girls that are clamoring for teachers, especially these young boys who graduated from the university and they don't have a job, so they settle for teaching. And you know, knowing that these boys are graduates, these young girls clamor for them and they want to get the best out of them. And some of these teachers who don't want to respect themselves and to understand that these children are a trap to them, because it has proven that they are traps. Excuse me. So at the long run, you discover that there's a tension. Students begin to fight among themselves because of a particular teacher. I know of a situation where students were gathering into a teacher's house trying to help him, you know, because he was single. They were helping him to clean the house. They were helping him to cook. They were helping him to do other things. And because they were helping him, you know, he was sleeping with them. This set will come, he will sleep, and just like that. This whole thing has been going on and on. So it's just an emotional frustration. I would call it emotional frustration on a young man who will meet girls who are still at their teenage age or at the adolescent age. Because the adolescent age is a very sensitive age where their hormones are very active, telling them that they are big girls, so they can do whatever they want to do now. You know, somewhat, especially when you see their future start coming up, and you will feel that they are really mature, not knowing that they are not mature. And some of them end up with unwanted pregnancies end up with unwanted abortions, end up with a lot of vices or evils that we cannot explain. The question is, before we employ a male teacher to teach in our schools where there are many, that is the cross section of the students are girls, we should be careful how we go about it, because this does not only end at the level of maybe day schools, it goes also to boarding schools. This goes right to boarding schools where teachers date their students, and during holidays they meet in the quartiers and the streets, and maybe during schools when they have some outings and that's an opportunity for them to go out. And then now in communities where, you know, these rural communities, it's the worst, because the guy has just had a small fine room with maybe a bed and a mattress, and then television, and then
a gas cooker. With
a gas cooker and fine green light that is making in the eye. When a girl enters there, you like that kind of environment.
A good woofer.
Yes.
That plays good sound.
And you know, she wants where she can just lie and feel comfortable. When she lied, they even tell her, go back to school. They say, no, sir, please leave me, leave me. And before you discover, the man begins to enjoy himself. The next thing is, I am pregnant. You are pregnant for what? Take this money, go and remove it. And then that is how these things end up. I've never heard of that kind of a situation where a teacher and a student get married. It's difficult, because to me, it's deception.
Okay. Your take on it. Is it something to bless? Or is it taboo?
For me, I want to add my voice to what Apostle Ising is saying, but to also extend it to the boundaries. If there is a relationship between a teacher and a student, which is in preparation for marriage, at least we won't be too hard on it if there are boundaries. The boundaries are well defined and the people are following the boundaries. But when it's a relationship that is animated by immorality, that's where the problem is, because, as Apostle has said, the consequences have often been devastating. Experience has shown that it doesn't end up well. But I don't see it wrong if maybe a young guy, call it a teacher of about 35, is teaching in a class and sees a 25-year-old lady student
25-year-old student in secondary school.
Is it because the world has changed today until you're seeing some go to school today, you look at them like, surely this one is tying diapers with a big bag in college. It happens. Some of these children maybe who did not go to school early.
You mean that a teacher who is teaching in say Bokwango, GHS Bokwango, sees a beautiful girl, he should walk up to the girl to say, I want to marry you. That's what you said.
No, it doesn't just go on a straight line. Yes, it doesn't just go on a straight line. He could see the lady, get attracted to the lady, and in the course of being in the school, his plans, as I've said, if the boundaries are well set, because bringing that proposal, it can be a distraction to that lady at that time.
Exactly.
Yes, it will be a distraction because she is there for school. But I'm just saying that for somebody to teach somebody and in the long run end up marrying the person will not be a problem, because if we just keep it on a straight line, it will look like when you are teaching children, in fact, completely close your eyes and not after that. It's a possibility to teach somebody and marry the person afterwards. But in the course of the children's studies, avoid being a distraction to them. Avoid entertaining, because I don't really know how some teachers will really, you are teaching a child and you are entertaining a love relationship with a child. Those are children that can walk out of you in the classroom. Those are children that...
What are you saying? What are you saying? How about men of God who preach the word of God and are sleeping with ladies in... How much more...
They fall into those...
If you can preach the word of God with 5-6 girls in your church, what is teaching? You're just teaching.
What we're talking about is, in fact, all of it falls under that pool of evil. Yes, because I think education has not just to do with an academic transfer of academic knowledge. There is a moral building that is supposed to be undertaken, because when you are teaching people, children, they look at their teacher as a model. That's why at times you see, when my kids are at home, at times you discuss, you say, no, my madam said that, my teacher said that.
Yes.
Teaching will go beyond just transferring academic knowledge to them, to embrace some kind of modeling, some form of moral building. So when our educational system is good, it is going to contribute to shrink moral decadence. But if we have teachers whose own moral integrity is also questionable, the tendency will be that they will enter into some of those things and begin to spoil children. So when I said so, I wasn't bringing a compromising factor to the point where somebody is teaching a child and is going out with a child. It's completely wrong. You are teaching a child and you are already talking about marriage with a child. It's already a distraction too. We are always saying that there can be a possibility, if you are nursing such an idea, nurse it and be conscious of the person you want to marry in future, that this person has to even go to school. And if you start bringing marital proposals when the person is still a student, you'll be distracting the lady. And when you talk about men of God who are preaching or have children, let me call it female
girlfriends,
female members,
yes.
female members, and are sleeping with them. For me, that's evil that does not have, in fact, it's beyond Satanism. Satan himself should not accept such a thing. It is completely wrong. It's not admissible.
Are they not human beings? They have blood, though.
They have blood. Yes, they have blood.
They have feelings.
They have feelings. So they have feelings. In fact, so if you give them a gun, will they shoot at people because they have blood and feelings that they have been provoked? No. What we are saying in office is that one of the things that makes a man is the principles you build, the integrity that you maintain.
Okay.
So you can't talk about a man of God without sexual integrity, financial integrity, and moral integrity.
Okay, let's take the first intervention from Ms. Assange Yvette from Menda. Seemingly, Mr. Assange. Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Greetings to the panelists and special greetings to the televiewers, especially those in the Northwest region. I'm sending special greetings to everyone watching from Northwest region entirely and in Bamenda in particular. Special greetings to the buy and selling women at food market. Women that rush from the market in the evening just to get home and watch Prime Hour. Mr. Leo, Prime Hour is one of the most watched programs here in the Northwest from the positive feedbacks I have gotten. So I want to say kudos to the Prime Hour team. Okay, so today we are looking at the love relationship between teacher and student, if it's proper. The truth is that there's nothing proper about it. I want to give an example. Us counselors, it is even forbidden to have to even have a relationship with a client within 2 years of, 2 years of counseling that client. If you must have something to do with a client, someone you have counseled, professionally, ethically, it should be after at least 2 years that you had counseled that person and you people have gone your separate ways. Then maybe later on in life, you people met again and then maybe something came up. So it is forbidden for us. Just imagine within 2 years after counseling someone, talk less of a teacher or talk less of having a love relationship with a client. When we're even counseling someone and something like that wants to come up, if a client wants to have feelings for us counselors, immediately we refer the person to another client. So every field works with ethics. I don't know what happens with the teaching field, but it is becoming a call for concern. Teachers come to class dressed in a very seductive way, and you see, if you listen to what maybe the male students talk about the teacher, you'll be surprised. They'll be thinking of how they can hold that teacher and have sex with them and all of that, and it ends up happening most times. We have seen cases where a lady teacher, a female teacher, is being impregnated by a student. You can imagine. So it is something that we really need to, I think this is the best forum for us to, the best place for us to really talk against this. The aspect of teacher-student relationship, please, teachers should have, they should work with ethics. They should have respect for themselves. What will you say if it was your own child that was dating another teacher as a parent?
Yes, very crucial question there. Teachers are mind molders. They are the molders of our society. Now, this we lived it here. I don't know whether you had it. I personally had serious issues with teachers. I'm sure more than 5 teachers because of girls here. Yes, serious. I remember a teacher told me one morning that any car that dares to move on the rails of trains, the car should be ready to be crushed.
To crush.
Yes. I have had a teacher who failed me in an examination, mock examination, and when he came to give our papers, he told me, he smashed my leg and told me, I told you I'll fail you. I'll fail you. I asked you not to go there. I remember there's a case where a teacher actually suspended me for two weeks from his class because he felt that he was seeing me with a lady. That lady was just my friend. He felt that I was going out with the teacher and then suspended me. And then 2 days later called me back to class. That was when I was in secondary school. Things have not changed. Why don't the school administrations, why do they not actually put checks and balances to ensure that this does not happen?
When we talk about students, we may be making it looking at it very big. We're talking about pupils also. What about this? What about this? There was a guy around this, one of the villages around Bonaberi here, who went out with, was sleeping with about 6 of the students, pupil in the class.
Primary school.
Primary schools.
Mm-hmm.
It's common in villages. It's common where teachers can, because some of these peoples now you can tell me that most of them even know some things that adults don't know. Because now, like Reverend Tatoh was saying that you can nurse the interest of marriage and that kind of a thing. How do you also nurse with the people? Somebody that is class 6 in primary school, and you want to nurse the relationship of marriage till when? Or you want to marry under age or what? That kind of a thing. But the government is supposed to be responsible for certain things like this. The Ministry of Education is supposed to look into issues like this. If at the level of the university it can be normal, but not in secondary schools and primary schools. Because at the level of the university, the girls are already mature, they already know what they want, even though sometimes you blackmail the ladies, like you talked about, failing some people, that kind of a thing. They blackmail people, they don't give them their marks because they refuse to go out with them. It's happening like that. You know, a teacher is like a star to these people. And one of the things that will happen is that these teachers will always refuse, even if you want to catch them, to talk about it, they will always refuse. So the administration sometimes is frustrated. They don't really know what is the truth. That this is happening, until a child comes up that I'm pregnant. Until a child comes up with evidence that this is what is going on. It was so common in our days. It was so common in primary schools because most of the girls in our class were big girls. We had girls of 18, 19, 20 that were in our class when we were in primary school. We had girls of that age, and you know, most of them were really big. You see, some of them really have breasts, enough breasts, that kind of a thing that a teacher cannot, you know, ignore them. And sometimes you really see the teacher avoid punishing that particular lady because of their relationship. Now the administration looks at them, and the highest thing you would do is the teacher say it is not true. It is just my people. It is just somebody I'm teaching. It's somebody I'm a friend. Sometimes they say that it's my relative. Sometimes they say 1 or 2 things. You cannot really tell. And sometimes these particular administrators, they just damn the whole thing. They don't even want to care what is happening, because even some of the administrators also are interested in some of these students. The administrators are interested in some of these students. Principals also go out with students. Principals and all these discipline masters and all the like. So who is going to punish who? Where? Because they know you are sacred. This one know the other one, this one know the other one. And finally, who is going to punish who? Because you want to punish this one, you say, what about you that is also with this other one, and so on and so forth. So that is the problem that we're suffering in our schools, because even the administrators, they are not free from some of these things. They are not free. And at the long run, the teachers down there also begin to make it like a habit. I begin to go now. Now we're talking about the dating from one child, from two, from three, from four child, planning for marriage. How? How can you be planning for marriage? How can you be planning for marriage with a from 3, from 4, from 5 girl who is just maybe 13, 14, 15? That is what you should be asking yourself.
But this is what you guys are saying. You're talking about the possibility to propose marriage. Most of these teachers are married themselves and are into these relationships.
No, but of late, it's mostly these young guys. Especially these guys who come and wear white shirts, sometimes wear nice t-shirts, you know, wear sport.
You just said some of the school administrators are involved.
Yes, they're involved.
Yes, so to become discipline master, senior discipline master, principals, you must have put in some years now. Are you saying that they are unmarried too?
You put in some years at the level of the government schools, but the private schools today, they're just looking for anybody that's available to teach. Government schools, private schools don't have the money to pay government teachers to teach in their schools. So what do you take? Who do you take? You take a university leaver or an advanced level holder. You take them to come and teach in the school. You say, okay, to get teachers to teach, especially those professional teachers who are teaching in many, many schools, to get some of them is very expensive. So what do? They go to cheaper people who can take for cheap, 50,000, 40,000 francs to teach. So what do? They compensate the balance of the money that they are not getting on the students. They have different methods they will use to get it, through sex, through gifts, through food, because some of these children will even steal food in their house and take it to the teacher. Some of them will even steal other things and bring it to the teacher. So we are seeing that most of these teachers who are teaching today are not married. Most.
Okay, most of them are not married. Yes. Is there no way this can be controlled?
I think one of these, in fact, for me, the frontline factor that contributes to this is the general moral decadence in the society. Yeah, if the moral decay was not really there in the society, some of these things would be handled. Children live from homes with already, minds that have been corrupt by the society. And you see, for me, the blame is really shared. The parents are also shifting their homework to the teachers, and teachers are at their own end corrupting to the level they can corrupt. The school administration is there with its own laxity, and the government too is there. In those days, we used to have moral education in schools.
Yes.
It has been kicked out of our educational milieu. These are things that, if they can be enforced so that the morality of each and everyone is built, such education is made. When we spend time in educating the children on some things which are not the things which they need for their moral upbuilding, it's not good. I think today, if we have people who are successful academically and are moral dwarfs, moral failures, it is going to also not help our society. Because tomorrow you get people who sit in high places in offices and are, technically very fit, but morally they are unfit. That is not the kind of society I think we want to build. We have people who are technically very fit, but they are homosexuals, which is something which we look at as a taboo within our context. So I think there is a rethink on our moral education, how we educate our morality from the home, which is the nucleus of society. Have parents do their own homework in terms of building the morality of their children. You will not have a girl child who will go and accept an advance from a teacher. You will not also have a girl child who is a teacher and will wear tight-fitting stuff to go and be and attract students or other fellow teachers to herself. When we get to the level where the parents are doing their own homework, the teachers are also doing their own homework, the government is also at work, the school administration is at work, it is going to sort us out in many ways. Look at a situation where a parent intentionally allows his or her girl child to be in financial stress, because some of the girls, they end up in these affairs with teachers because maybe your girl child has already reached the age where she's already menstruating, and you're not as much as taking care of her money for part. She ends up getting a teacher who will be sponsoring her, giving her some small.
These teachers don't have money. They don't have.
No, but at least not to the extent where they will not give the little they can give to the girls, Apostle. But the issue is that, as I'm trying to say that as a parent, you must do the best you can do to see that the idea is blotted out of your girl child's mindset, that she will be able to accept such advances. If your girl child will get to the point where she is pushed to the wall financially because she lacks basics, you are already exposing her to some of these vices.
Exactly.
Then we are also looking at modeling being a key aspect of parenting. As a parent, you are supposed to not only be talking to your child, but also be a model. As a mother, your girl child will not see how at times you leave your husband, her father to say, and you end up, there are some uncles which you entertain some relationships with them, and you think you only be preaching to her that she should walk in integrity, which you yourself are not walking in integrity. So the modeling that a parent will have towards a child will also be a contributing factor, so that the moral aspect of that child is built, and already it is a fence that you have constructed to let the child know that until she has reached a particular age, she is not supposed to get involved in certain relationships. You see, one thing that many of us parents are failing in today is sex education. When a child is reaching a certain age, there is an education you must pass through and make sure the child grasps what you are talking about. If we shy away from saying some things and calling some things by their names, the world is going to teach the children. They will watch on television. They will have, the Android phone you've given to the child is a tool that is going to get the child acquire some information that you are supposed to get, and the information will reach the child corrupt already, and that will also contribute to the corruption of the child's mind. I think that if the moral fabric of the society is consolidated to the point where people are moral agents that understand the implication of some choices, they understand what is good and bad, not only for them but to society at large, it is going to help to sort this situation out. You won't be running behind the child when it's going to school. Some of them will hide their dresses inside the bag. The moment they leave, they carry, in fact, they pull off their uniforms and wear another dress, go and live in a man's house for the length of time she's supposed to be in school, and then resurface back at home, looks like Holy Maria, like nothing, like as if she's not smashed an ant the whole day, of which she is from, doing that which she was not supposed to do. So, but if you have that kind of consciousness that has been built in a child, they will avoid engaging themselves into all of this.
The Minister of Secondary Education decided to implement a particular gown. For the skirt you must be very big, but that when you come to school, you cannot seduce a teacher. So it has helped in a way, because these girls used to wear those short things, tight. You will see a girl wear tight fitting, and you ask yourself that this girl is a secondary school student or what? And it's also a very big problem, because the Minister of Secondary Education has helped in that particular domain.
Okay.
Yes.
Good evening, Mr. Liu, and a happy new month to all the panelists. I think if our schools were not having joint classes, boys and girls, things like this wouldn't be happening. Thank you all. And may God love watching from United Arab Emirates. Let's take the second intervention of Mrs. Sanji Yvette from Bomenda.
Mr. Leo, teacher-student love relationship is not proper. Once you're a teacher, you are like a parent. That's the truth. Keep aside your age. Keep aside your age. Once you're a teacher, you are like a parent to those students. And the highest thing you can do for them is to also grow them up like parents who want to grow up their children. Imagine that another teacher is teaching your child and behaving the same. How will you feel as a teacher? So teachers are like parents. They should assist parents in bringing up the children while they are with them in school. At home, parents are doing their part. In school, teachers should, they should help the parents so that the children will not go wayward. But when the teachers are the source of the problem, then what becomes of our society? Mr. Leo, we have a very terrible case here we have a grieving case. I mean, Northwest, Bamenda, if you see what is happening now that children don't go to school with uniforms, if you see what children wear to school, you will see that immorality has gone to its climax. I will not lie to you, I fear the future generation. I fear the future generation, Mr. Leo. I don't know what will become of our children. The kind of dresses that children wear to school, the kind of things that have been happening in school. A girl child wear destroyed to school with all the labs exposed. I mean, the kind of destroy that they have kept a big, one big hole like this on the jean trouser in the name of destroy. Children wear all kind of things to school. I want to congratulate the schools that are doing everything to check the dressing of students before they enter school campus. But not all schools are doing that. So it has increased the level of immorality, even not just between teachers and students, but it has increased it between even the students themselves. What students do in schools nowadays, that's not something that was happening in I think in the days back. It's a call for concern, Mr. Leo. So while we discourage the love relationship between teacher and students, please let us pray for Northwest. Bamenda people, let us pray for the Northwest entirely, because our children are getting wayward with what they wear and what happens in school. And I want to say that as a teacher, please remember that you are a parent. Parent the children, discipline them, correct them. Don't be the source of their problem.
Okay, Apostle Alfred is singer. Some of these students may also be helpless. For example, you have a teacher who may have to sleep with 20, 30, 40 of you because you want to have good grades, marks. You need to sleep with them.
Well, but that is a common story that has been, and they've acted it in movies. You see them in movies, you hear them in stories, and all the like to try to discourage that. But the thing is not going to end today. Maybe tomorrow it may end tomorrow, but it's not going to end today. But what will happen is that these students who go to see the teacher for grades, and the truth about it is that, do they really merit what they ask for? Because if you write very well and you pass your exams, a teacher cannot fail you, especially if you have your examination papers, which shows that what you write is correct, meaning that you can take the children up. Some children need to start setting up some of these teachers, because they are you in the name of results and this thing. And you know you are an intelligent student, you work very hard. Take that teacher up and create a scenario where they can handle such a teacher. Like I was talking about this issue of teachers just leaving secondary, maybe advanced level or university and start teaching in schools. I was trying to quote an example of this young boy that was all over the net, where he was backed up by some boys, and this particular teacher was whipping, beating him with cutlass and a pipe, and then also apply pepper on the wounds. Now that kind of boy, what do you think he's doing with the young girls in the school? You can just imagine what will happen. That kind of boy who is desperate and can do those kind of things, just imagine what our children are going to go through. It's a very, very terrible thing, because the children are very vulnerable, especially girls of 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Those girls are very sensitive. We call those ages teenagers because they are in their teens. They call them 13, 14, 15. That's why they say you are in your teen. And at that particular point in time, there's what we call heroism. These girls want to look like Beyonce. They want to look like Rihanna. They watch a lot of pornographic things on their phones and a lot of things. And at the end of the day, what happens? They want to practice what they watched. And what will happen? They will dress anyhow, and they will even be the ones to seduce the teachers.
Yeah, but coming to this issue of what they watch and dressing, the parents also have a lot to do with that.
No, parents go to work. Parents are very busy these days, and sometimes you don't even know what, like you said, they put a change of dress in their bags. My daughter used to do that too. You just get up and then put some other change of dress in your bag, and when you get to school, you begin to change it and begin to do those kind of things. But parents have to be sensitive too about certain things, because a parent need to just get into their room and search the bags, and this is because sometimes the children pass in the market and buy those things themselves. They have small money, they buy those things themselves. And you know, the truth is that, Mr. Leo, we should be talking about these students who are complaining like this. These students, sometimes their hands are not clean. They would deliberately be seducing a teacher. You see a student would sit like this and open her legs in the class, and the teacher will be suffering. After you finish from that session, what do you think? What do you think? You will want to do that. And sometimes they don't want to come after you. They come after you.
Are they not mature? Are the teachers not mature?
The teachers are mature, but men especially are moved by what they see. Men are moved by what they see. They see the hips, they see the breast. You see these small girls who open their chest and deliberately allow the breast to puff up. And you see the men are struggling to go against those temptations. It's not going. Now look at these young girls who are also desperate. They are looking for work and they cannot job and they cannot after university. You come to school and you see rich people's children who can bring car to school and who have something to eat and to share and to give to another person. You create a relationship with that particular person, and before you discover, you start sleeping with that person. It's as dangerous as this, because girls are seducing, young boys are seducing, teachers are also seducing. That is how this relationship has gone. It is all way, it is all round. And even some people you never expected in school, you will see them running after these young girls, because these girls will make proposals. These boys will also make proposals. You see a boy who does not even come to class and come once in a while, but when he comes, he has his money and he buys some kind of things. And some of them are scammers. Secondary school students are scammers. When they have made those monies and they come to school, you, a teacher that is earning 30,000 francs or 40,000 francs, you have no voice again in class. And sometimes they will create a scenario to begin to sleep with the teacher. And it's working like that. It is poverty that pushes people to some of these things.
Hello, Mr. Leo. I like the program. It is good. If only my mother and father were here to listen. Mystery Man is writing from Limbe in Mombo South. Okay. Good evening to you. Good evening, Mr. Leo. The situation is of teacher-student relationship is already going out of hand. The blame here is shared between all stakeholders and students. Mr. Leo, can you imagine at times it's the students who at times push the teachers into all this by putting on tight-fitting uniforms or sitting in class and spreading her legs open. At the end, parents need to instill moral values on their children. Teachers have to try to maintain their integrity as moral coach, and the government needs to put in measures to sanction teachers who go into such acts. Jethro, writing from Bamenda, the law doesn't even accept two colleagues in the same school to get married without authorization, talk less of two colleagues dating. The law also forbids any sexual relationship between a teacher and a student. I thought it would have been better to bring a teacher to this panel. Tani Agbo is writing from Kumba. Yes, I'm sure we should do that next time. Good evening, Mr. Liu and all the panelists. This issue of teacher-students suffocates me day in, day out. I'm a secondary and high school teacher. I will say it's really terrible. This issue is on a serious rise. Most teachers teach 2 or 3 schools, and they do have at least 3 students in each school. Some of these teachers don't longer need to clothe themselves again before coming to school. I say so because the teacher's nakedness has already been seen by almost all the students. Mr. Liu, this teacher-student relationship in Douala to me looks like it has been approved by the school authority, because no teacher has been sanctioned in regards to this, especially in Douala. The boys equally try to seduce the female teachers. It's horrible. Kate is writing from Douala. This is a teacher writing. Sincerely speaking, should many teachers not be sanctioned? Because if we know that this teacher is sanctioned, teachers are going out with girls, and almost everybody know in school.
Mr. Leo, I want to say 2 things. In as much as it's very important for sanctions or disciplinary measures to be put in place, it can only help as much as to a certain extent.
Yes, but why not?
Because some of these things, in fact, we end up talking about some of those cases because they have come to the limelight. There are some that are done within closed doors, and they keep the relationship very discreet that nobody can know. So I think that it is more important when there is a transformation of the mind, which has to do with education. If there is that education that people already know that these are my limits of what I'm supposed to do at a certain age or within certain context, it is going to help more than the sanctions. You see, if sanctions were as strong as the mind, people will not be in prison and people are outside committing the same crime. Or people are beating a thief here and another thief is stealing right there. So I think sanctions can only go as much as they can go in helping situations out. But when the mind is transformed, people don't indulge before creating the need for sanctions. And then the next thing I also want to say is this. The world is very complicated. Some of these things have a spiritual connotation. Some of the people who get involved in these things, they are either agents from a certain evil kingdom who have come to reinforce an agenda in a particular educational institutions. And that is why parents have to pray very much for their children when they're going to school. Pray. If they're not initiated through food or through other things. I learned of a child who was initiated in a school just by somebody calling him to come to his bench, and when he came, he just made his hand like this. The boy was initiated, and at 15, it is a pastor who was saying at 15, the boy had slept with about 13 different women at 15, at age 15. So I'm saying that some of these things have to do with spiritual, activities, evil spiritual activities at work, both from the side of the parent, of the teachers, I wanted to say, the child of the side of the teachers as well as the children. So we must make sure also that spiritual activity is given its place in schools. When I talk about spiritual activities, be they government schools, private schools, mission schools, there should be a chaplaincy. There should be a chaplaincy that is giving a place to be able to talk to people, teach them the ways of God, give them moral education. You see, we have guidance counseling, which is being done. It's good. That one, it is done to breed professionals. But what can we really do to see that these professionals don't end up being clever devils tomorrow? This has to do with moral education as well as spiritual education and upbringing. If this is not done, we will try to see that sanctions are meted on teachers who have done this, and children who do it, maybe sanctions are meted on them. But now, it will only reduce it for me to a certain minor degree compared to if people were, made to understand the implication of some of the things they do. You look at girls who have dropped out of school because they had affairs with their teachers and they couldn't continue school because of pregnancy or some other sexually transmissible infections that came that they suffered from. So I think if we can really bring this situation to the level of mind in transformation and education, it will help more than these sanctions. You see, you were sanctioning a teacher who maybe is trying to keep his gap, and as we are saying, some of these girls are the ones, or some of the boys and girls all together, they're the ones trying to lure the teachers into some of the things. Imagine that, as we're saying, the lady is not performing well academically and is making by the teachers say no sir, and then gradually luring the man into what he would have loved to do, given a normal context. So with that, if a girl child knows that I am in school, I have to concentrate to study, and there are no sexually transmissible marks, there is no sexually transmitted success in this place, they will be able to put in their best and study. But some of them know that at the end of it all, even if they failed a course, they will go and settle matters with their lecturer in bed, and all the other things are going to fall in place. So I think that mind education for me is a key factor. And who is supposed to make it happen? Government should avoid this thing of wanting to put moral education out of the system. Okay. Most often now they say somebody can be admitted into a university 4 papers minus religion. Well, I'm not going into that. What about cases where this moral education, as I was saying, have been withdrawn totally, so that when they see Bible clubs in school, they have been banned in some schools, banned, completely banned.
Good evening, Mr. Liu, and thank you, people, for this forum. As a teacher, from experience, I have come to realize that more than 90% of teacher-student love relationships are immoral. I feel bad when I hear of a teacher going out with a student, because this is just a polite way of hurrying the future of that girl. The issue here too is that the teaching field has been infiltrated by many who are not really teachers, but who are only struggling to survive, and so they do all sorts of terrible things with the students, such as sexually transmitted marks. May God help us. And for Jirune is writing from Melong. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I have sent this so many, especially in my school in Limbe. Teachers, the men teacher are terrible. It is up to the level now that even in class, the girls don't have respect again. Please, the government needs to do something about this. Hard sanctions should be done on those that are caught. Boris is also writing from Limbe. Good evening, Mr. Liu. It's Mr. Epien Boya. Being a teacher means you are a parent and guidance, so I urge my colleagues to set boundaries towards their students so as to avoid any drama in future. Okay, surprisingly, all the teachers are not endorsing what is happening. They are neither defending themselves. Mr. Liu, when a school consequences, Crowns is writing from Boya. Thank you. Some schools are taking measures. Mr. Liu, this is Yahweh writing from Yaoundé and a teacher. What is your take on female teachers who date students and even fight for young school boys? I'm sure that case has been cited here now. It's not good. Greetings, Mr. Liu and the powerful panelist. Mr. Liu, I teach in an environment where students are the ones going after teachers. The students will tell you in your eyes that you won't or can't run away from me. I'm talking of mature students above 18. Truly, the temptation teachers are passing through, be it in class or out of class, is not easy at all. It's Nelson Gomez writing from San Malima. Yeah, men of God who are pastoring 50,000 capacity churches, it means they will sleep with 1,000 now because many women want them. You are the teacher.
No, the protocols sometimes that are around these men of God helps them from some of these things. But these teachers don't have any protocol. You know, they don't have bodyguards running around them. They don't have some kind of things. So I think that there's a serious thing we need to think about. The teachers are really vulnerable, especially from these young girls. These young girls are terrible.
Are you saying that? Are you saying that? I'm giving you my instance.
Okay.
That I had confrontations with teachers who threatened me. A teacher failed me. A teacher actually suspended me from class because of that. You see, teachers are really vulnerable. Is that what you're saying?
No, we don't deny those exceptions. But we say these
What
girls,
I'm saying is exception?
No. It is happening. But we are saying that these young girls are desperate. You need to see what these girls do after watching pornographic films.
How many Christians have seduced you, man of God?
This thing is every day now, everywhere you go.
So how many are you sleeping with?
No, the thing is that, let me tell you the truth. It's not about how many are you sleeping with or how many are not sleeping with. Because you will not just sleep with anybody that comes around.
So why are you justifying teachers? That they are under very intense
not
temptation?
Justifying. I'm also looking at it from another angle.
Yes.
Just like what somebody has said, that their students are the ones seducing the teachers. It is true. We have been kicking hard that teachers should not go ahead with such practices. But the truth about it is that these girls, I'm telling you this, these are practical things we see every day in the streets and we hear from places. I was in Tiko, a small community, so I knew what this thing is all about. These girls are bent on seducing these boys. And sometimes teachers need to have dressing ethics. You will not wear tight t-shirts and then you have your six-pack and then you go to class.
So I'm working with girls here, many of them. Sincerely speaking.
Yes.
Before coming here, I worked with girls at High TV, where you have 20 of them come for internships and all the like. So I will sleep with them because I would justify that they seduced me. Is that what we are saying? No. Are you not a teacher means that you are the leader, you are the guide. So now, instead of you to guide, it is a lady who is guiding you?
No, that is not what we are postulating. We are also saying that while we blame teachers for that particular kind of acts, we should also call on these students who are after teachers. That's what we're trying to say. But we can balance this thing. We should not just look at it from one side.
Yeah, but those ladies will always be there. It is you that you are the head.
These ladies, some of them have spiritual powers. These girls have come from kingdom of darkness and they are ruining the life of teachers. Because after you finish sleeping with some of these girls, your life can never be the same. That's why you see a teacher will teach for how many years and will be wretched and cannot progress. How many teachers do you see progress that can even live a better life? They say the worst are the private teachers. You sleep with some of these girls who have come from marine kingdoms. Some of them are terribly initiated in shrines and other places.
Man of God, this is the message you should be giving to teachers so that they should grow. Tell them that these things that you are doing, you sleep with some of these ladies, they are the cause of their stuff. Yeah, this is the message you should. Yes, this is the message you should give
and out. That is what I'm giving them,
especially to our junior brothers who are teachers.
Good, because so many teachers end up very poor. They cannot build houses. They cannot, even if they want to struggle to build, it will be a government teacher. And the government teacher will struggle to build and will not be able to complete the house. Either, if they will not plaster in certain places, the parlor will be plastered. But
I don't know where these problems are coming from.
You don't know what is coming. And even if you finally get married tomorrow, your home may not be stable because those marine spirits are all over you. Imagine if you sleep with 15, 20 of them. What happens? You have carried a host of demons into your destiny. Your destiny is going to be wrong. That is what is happening. Even if you travel abroad, it will haunt you. You will go there and you won't succeed. Because yours truly, these girls have been sent to schools. And that is why you see religion is not taken serious in our schools again. Because if you try to mention that even in the class, it is those students that will go and report you. That's what will happen. Because some teachers, in the name of teaching they will bring in some religious things and these things. And some teachers also, in the name of teaching biology, they will enter into some kind of things and cause those girls to also stand up, and many things will be happening. So we are calling the teachers. We are telling
I think this issue, it will be difficult to say that there's a group we can successfully attribute blame to.
That is it.
It is, in fact, the blame is shared.
It's shared.
No, the blame. No. For the first time, I will not agree with you guys.
Let me understand.
You cannot share the blame.
Understand
the blame. You cannot share same blame for the mature and the immature.
Okay, now you are talking about proportions.
We call immature?
Yes.
No,
those children, you are the teacher. The children are not teachers.
Excuse me.
Some of these children are more mature than teachers.
No, excuse.
Man of God. They are teachers. The way they come of the teacher, yes.
You are talking about a proportion. I said it is shared, and I did not talk about who carries the greater part of it.
Okay.
Yes, so it is shared, but now if you want to go into the nitty-gritties, we can be talking about who carries the higher blame.
Yes.
But now, this is what I'm saying. When you read the Bible in the book of Job chapter 31 and verse 1, Job said something. He said, I have made a covenant with my eyes that I will not look at it.
Yes.
So these things, you first have to build a hedge for yourself, because if not, you move on the street let's say within the day, that is not dark, Apostle, can you leave from here and reach the main road there without seeing poorly dressed ladies? That should give you a reason for you to lust after them. If you have not really decided that you will be a man of integrity. It will not be. So you won't say that it is because I have been seduced. You won't give that as an excuse.
Yes.
It is a weak alibi.
It means you sleep with almost everybody.
You will be sleeping with everybody. That some of them even do it, in fact, intentionally. Apart from the poor dressing, when they see you, it's as if there is a virtual music that they twist themselves and make it so that you see the way they've winded their buttocks or something. The issue is that you as a teacher, you as a student, you as whoever, as a man of God or whoever, it is up to you to see that you hedge your own self against all of the things, because you won't stop it from society. It's happening. Because if in the days of Job, if he did not say he has decided to make a covenant with his eyes, it shows that in those days it used to happen. It means that there was a possibility for him to look at somebody and lust at the person. Even if the person, at times, even look at it from the angle that somebody is not even poorly dressed, you can decide to mentally naked somebody.
Yes.
You
yes.
can naked somebody mentally to see that, okay, this person, this is how the person shape could be. Or
but
something.
can we also put this thing also on this internet where people browse funny websites and watch these things before coming to school?
Exactly.
Before coming to class. A teacher is browsing pornographic all through the night and comes to class. A girl has also browsed pornographic materials all through the night.
Then there's understanding and response.
Go to some of the rooms of these teachers, those ones that have one room with blue light. You will see naked women on the wall. You will see men on the wall with six-pack, making the environment to be an erotic environment where any girl that comes in, it is only God that is going to save you. That is it. Now, you see, you take girls to periodically to go and eat in your house. You know, they go and eat, and this time you say, okay, now, as you go, no come with your friend again, come you one. You say, all right. As they go and see off the friend, they pass like this and come back. That is how this thing is. We must accept that most of our students are vulnerable in their minds. Because of what? At their age, they are being influenced by their hormones, which we are saying that those hormones are directing them to think that they are big, they can do anything they want. But unfortunately, it's not true. But most of our teachers have crossed that adolescent age. They are 25, 26, 27, sometimes 30, 40, which means that they can easily control themselves against such things. So if they go on practicing it, it means that they are heading to so many dooms, because you will find yourself with people, some of these girls that come to class, their parents are in the witchcraft kingdom. You will sleep with them and find yourself swimming in the night, dreaming and all those things. And you can ask for help. If it has become a problem to you, you see yourself, wanting to sleep with everything in skirt, cry for help.
Yeah.
You can meet a man of God, you can meet someone to help you and pray for you, and those things be broken so that you can live a victorious. If not, every young girl that comes to school, you want to go about. We had teachers like that.
It's a spirit.
And few are the things that can ruin a man's life. Yes. And that kind of womanizing spirit where you can't control yourself.
You can't control yourself.
Few are the things that can ruin somebody. When you read the Bible, you see great men were brought down by it. The Solomons had challenges because of women, the Samsons and the other people. So as a man growing up, both as a student or a teacher, what you can do for yourself is to build that hedge. Yes, sex is something very strong.
Strong.
It's a very strong thing. It's not just about having some 30 minutes of pleasure and thereafter. No. It's something very strong. The implications have a kind of ripple effect and touch other aspects of your life, which if you are not careful with them, you will think that you just wanted to quench the desire that you had for 30 minutes.
After that,
you suffer for a lifetime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to all the great men in the studio, from Mr. Mbong in Boya. Mr. Liu, I think the issue boils down to moral decadence, as the panelist in Petticoat said. I have taught in a big private school in Douala before joining a microfinance sector. What I experienced was terrible. One particular student of mine of a tribe trapped me at all costs, always wanting to sit in front, opening her skirt before me until she traced my home, but God helped me to flee to the point of exposing her to the Surveillant General. Mr. Leo, some of these students seem to be possessed. Teachers should keep a high degree of integrity, and parents should train their children morally and even pray and fast for them. Thank you, Mr. Mbong. Writing from Boya there. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm a parent watching a program on teacher-student relationship with my daughter. I'm totally disappointed with the person that stands point. The teacher is the adult who should know better to protect himself and help the students by turning away from their advances. Ida is writing there. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu and your crew. I'm Valerie from Nyeneba village. The program is so interesting and educative to us bachelors to be careful with the type of girls that come our way. Yes. Good evening to everyone. I think the government has a greater part to play here. They should ensure the return of moral education in schools. My own era was never as such. Ben is writing from Chang. Good evening to you, Ben. Good evening, Mr. Liu. That issue of pornography is very true. I caught my teacher inside his office watching pornography on his phone. Too bad, Mr. Liu. I'm Dave, writing from Boya. Wow. Good evening, Mr. Liu. And all the panelists. Mr. Liu, teachers of the 21st century are not like those of yesterday. Most of them are young boys and girls having Android generation pupils and students. I once greeted one student of 16 years that, "Good afternoon, my daughter." And she was very annoyed and told me she can burn me. So I kept wondering what's the relationship between greeting and burning me. We need prayers now more than before. Figo is writing from Bamenda. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Thank you for this topic of today. To be honest, the way student-teacher love relationship is going on in school now is very alarming. Students are no longer willing to study. All what they care... Oops, don't call. Stop calling, please. All what they care is know how they are looking. Negative peer pressure caused by the music they listen to. For example, students want to become Malians. I really cry for the future of students, for there will be a time where a generation will celebrate their long stay on earth at 40 years if care is not taken. I have volunteered to be teaching moral education in some of the schools in Bamenda, and trust me, Mr. Liu, some of the school authorities are not interested in that subject at all. Vichas Donut writing from Bamenda. Good evening to you. Stop the calls, please. Good evening, Mr. Liu. The government needs to do something. Immorality is uncontrollable in our nation, in every sector. In our days, teachers respected themselves, but today, teachers even have sex with students in school. Mr. Liu, continue with the good work. Only God alone will reward you. Thank you very, very much. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I think that in spite of the seduction, teachers should be conscious and practice self-discipline. Justina is writing from Bafusam. This one says, Mr. Liu, educating or sensitizing the students against these ills would not really solve the problem. I personally take 10 minutes almost during my teaching hours to educate these very students, yet I see them going about with some of these teachers. Yes, but they are going out with the teachers. Why are the teachers doing so? Can they not stop? I even wonder how they meet up with the demands of these students, of which the teachers are not even well paid. The case of seduction on the part of the students is just 20%. More of this ungodly relationship are covered by the teachers. Okay. Tasha Bryant writing from Fumban says, good evening, Mr. Liu. We have to take Christianity studies into the school curriculum so as to help some teachers and students so that they can be able to resist their temptations. Okay. We hope that teachers themselves are watching this program. Good evening to all in the studio. Some teachers at times go after female students and threaten to fail them if they don't comply. Joy is writing from Bomenda. Yes, Joy, if you have some of them, just share with us. We will help. Yes, share with us. If you have some recordings and something, things like that, share with us. We'll talk about them here. Greetings. The solution to this can only start with the government restricting media content accession in Cameroon, since media contributes to about 50%. Secondly, outfit restrictions to, especially to the girls. We have laws but not implemented by the government, so this law will not be implemented in any school as well. I'm writing from Yaoundé. Okay. Many persons are really worried about the situation. The situation is really not good, where you get what the teachers themselves are writing, saying, what the girls are writing. Yeah.
I just, there's a parent there, a woman, a mother who says she's watching the program with her daughter, and she's disappointed that the teachers, that we are saying that the children also share in the blame. That's an escapee mentality.
Yeah.
There is something they teach people in driving schools, that when you take a car on the streets, consider every other person there is a mad person. Hate your own self and not be thinking of some other person. For instance, do you think that if I were to cross a road today and somebody who is like, okay, take for granted I am at the amber light, and the person, the driver crosses the light, like the light is red, the traffic light is red, and the person passes and hits me. Well, will I, if I die, will I go to court? Will I go to take the person to court to start saying that the person, drove or violated the red light? No. So what you should do is, from your own side, teach your daughter, tell your daughter that this is wrong, these are the implications.
Yes.
Don't give in to any of these things.
And sometimes you can see your quiet daughter sitting around you there. You don't know what they're
doing. You don't even know what
what
she's up to.
What their friends are telling them.
Exactly.
Their influence.
Yeah.
Those things.
So it's not something to be saying that you want to
tell your daughter to be careful not to seduce somebody.
Exactly. And that she should not give in to any demand, any sexual demands from some teacher somewhere or something. Let her not give in.
Okay. Yes, it's very destructive now. Yes, but how do we stop? If we cannot stop, how do we curb this? Some persons think that sanctions really need to be
now. Schools should also be careful the kind of people they take to teach in their schools. Well, people want to economize their money that comes into school, so they just pick up people who just graduated from the university, or maybe an advanced level holder who is around with a white shirt and a pinafore, and then he's going around teaching classes, private classes here and there, and then they think that is a good thing. So don't employ some kind of, if you see a particular teacher is having a questionable character, please don't employ them to teach in your schools, because some of these people you employ are destroying the school. The very essence of school will be downplayed on, because a teacher will come and nearly half of the class he has slept with them, and so on and so forth. So I think the school authorities have a lot to play. The school authorities should also monitor teachers and begin to see their behaviors with students, and also monitor something, sometimes punish some students if you see their approach towards their teachers is that of seduction, and also call those teachers to orders or dismiss them outrightly and get many other teachers. There are teachers out there who are ready to teach and responsible. We know of teachers, yes, it is true that we know of teachers who are having that behavior of maybe sleeping with children up and down, or students up and down, but we are also saying that school should also observe those kind of teachers and call them to order. And here, what are we doing now? We are trying to call them to order on this platform. It will come a time when we will start calling their names here.
Yes.
Yes.
Like I just told a sister who is in Romania,
we'll call their names.
We have recordings, please send them. Yeah,
bring them up to us so that we can see how to discuss these things online, so that some of these things will be stopped. Because if you know that your name will be, like College George used to call some names, things that are happening in town.
Actually, there are cases that some persons have sent to me from Bafusam, from especially Boya. I have had like 3 cases of students who are complaining. I think that they should, if it's possible to record those things, record and
let them record it, and then you have proofs and facts.
Yes. And I think the school administration should sit up. We cannot also claim not to know what is happening. There is somebody who has given an example of her school where almost everybody is towing the line because you don't dare discuss this, and if you are caught doing something like that, you are dismissed instantly.
And school owners should know that when we start touching those things, they will call the name of your school, and they will call the teacher in your school, and it would tarnish the reputation of your school. So you have to sit up and do something about it and call people to order, because that is going to help a lot of things. I'm telling you that the media plays a lot of role to correct some of these things, and to tell some of these girls that they will be called up and they will call their names and say this and this, and people will discuss about it. And we'll invite those people to come here and talk.
Yes, but the ladies themselves, they have that moral, they have that responsibility to expose some of these things, because when you sit quiet, the teachers will continue. Yes, if the ladies, the girls in most of these schools who are, especially those who are requested for sexually transmitted marks, if you can record something and bring it to us, we are going to take the teacher to task, and why not expose the school administration?
it doesn't just end even at recording to send. The issue is that some of them have not decried it even in front of the church of the school administration.
Yes, they have not.
Yes, the principal is in his office thinking that everything is business as usual, and you are there and a teacher is mounting pressure on you. You have not come to say it's like this is what I'm going through with this teacher. So most of the things to go through with in fact it continues to subsist because of complicity.
Yeah.
And if you go,
some teachers go to the level
done.
of saying that it is fringe benefits.
They call it fringe benefits.
Yes, which is
so. If you as a girl, you are having a pressure from a teacher and you have not decried it, your mother who is your confidant, your father who is your confidant, does not know anything about it, the school administration does not know anything about it, your pastor does not know anything about it.
They like it.
Come on.
It shows you like it.
No, there's a complicity somewhere. So parents should not stay back and say they want to heap all of this thing on the teachers. Let's all put our hands on deck. While the teachers are doing their own, they're supposed to do in order to cleanse the moral aspects of their life. The students as well are supposed to be working very hard. The school administration should be working very hard. The government is supposed to be doing its own homework. The church as well. And the whole society, when we all collaborate and work this thing, is going to be kicked out of our schools.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. Happy New Month. I love your program. Thank you very much. A special one to you. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I've personally had an experience in school with a certain teacher here in Yaoundé where he asked me out and I refused. So he will insult me in class unnecessarily and make fun of me, which will cause students to laugh at me, not even knowing it's because I rejected him. Furthermore, he told me openly in school one day that he must have sex with me, whether I like it or not. And that same day, he seized my school bag and I had to insist before it was given back to me. This man in question has harassed so many students from what I heard. Thank you. I'm writing from Yaoundé. These are the things that you need to actually expose. Good evening, Mr. Liu. This is a very interesting program. I think that the solution to this problem is not moral education. Jesus remains the sole solution to this war. To solve this problem, Christians should engage in heartfelt evangelism. As such, both students and teachers will be converted to Christ. If about 70% of both teachers and students are saved, like our schools will be a place to be. It is only the undiluted word of God that can transform the natural mind so that it does not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Hebrews 4:12. I'm Chansey watching the program from Gabon. Good evening to you, Chansey. Good evening to everyone. I'm Francis from Douala. There is a school in Douala Ancien Route, Bonaberry. The teacher teaches literature. He's using unseen languages and uses advantages to female students. Okay? Yes, but you know his name. Send us those information. Good evening to you all in the studio, Mr. Liu. Please, I wish we should keep the government out of this because our government herself is not too mature when it comes to decision making. I think the solution is self-discipline. Sebastian writing from Yaoundé. Okay. Good evening, house. Yes, good evening, house of reform. I am happy to be part of this wonderful program in the studio there. I love Mr. Liu's point because I have come to realize that your first contact with a female student as a teacher will foretell what the outcome will be. What is happening now in schools is that when this female student say, I beg for cent, will end up in bed. I witnessed a scenario of recent when a girl will say to the friend that a teacher is chatting her. My problem really goes to the parents because where I am, the parents say the teacher are the one to train their children. Thanks from Manjo Chiketin writing here in Manjo, Mungo Division. There is an evening school where all the teachers there are going out with all the female students. Majority of the school authorities are fighting with teachers on some girls, students. How can we handle that? Just send me, get to me after the program, send me the name of the school and more information on what you're telling me. I may send a team down there to Manjo. Manjo is not far, no, it's next door. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Parents should do their job at home by educating their children, okay? Good evening to you and your crew. Mr. Liu, I enjoy this program. It is very weird thing for a teacher to mess out with his or her students. In fact, such a teacher needs serious cleansing as well as the students. Firstly, it is a very destructive act to you, the teacher, as it will cause you to lose your self-esteem before the students in question and other students who will eventually know about the dirty relationship. Secondly, it destroys the future and career of the students in question because the students will not be comfortable in class, will not concentrate. In fact, such is full of distractions and fear of the unseen, etc., and thereby retards the performance of the students. Serious sanctions should be meted out. Okay, Nyusi Chirian, writing from Bamenda. Please, I'm begging, if you are a female student or you are a boy who has been a victim, get to me after this, and if you are ready for an interview, I'll do an interview with you, but I will not show your face. I will know how to do it so that we can expose some of these schools. We can call the names of the schools, call the names of some of the teachers if need be. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Any teacher having a love relationship with a student is not a mentor and is not worth being a teacher. I'm Moses, writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Happy for the program of today. God bless you all. I'm writing from Kribi. Hello, Mr. Liu. This problem needs to be handled both by parents and school authorities. If not, our society will become unlivable. Godwin is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Liu. To me, before the school year starts, teachers are supposed to have a meeting concerning this teacher-student relationship. To me, I blame teachers for that, because if a student tries to seduce a teacher and the teacher keeps quiet, meaning he loves the advances. Secondly, from the dress code of students in school, and teachers says nothing about it. So I think counseling before the school year is one of the best ways to solve this problem. Amoye Raisa, writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Sex is a covenant, but many people don't know. Having sex with different persons jeopardizes your future. Gerard is writing from Dubai. Good evening to you, Gerard. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I had a teacher who was eyeing me, but he never told me until I changed town. That was when he made his intentions known, because he didn't want to be disrespected. I think some of these teachers still have some dignity. Ima is writing from Bamenda. Yes, that is, I'm sure that is what Reverend was saying. Here I come again, Mr. Leo. This teacher in question, okay, is commonly, okay, no, this I will discuss that, because you have sent me the name of the teacher and the school. Just after the program, I will take down your names. I will also save your numbers. I will call you so that we can chat and look at the possibility for organizing interviews to talk about this. But we have just 30 minutes to talk about on our second topic for tonight, which has to do with can we stay cohabiting. It is very common when you go to most of the quarters. You find a man and a woman living for 5 years. They will never go to the village. People just visit. You will not know whether they are legally married, whether they did traditional wedding or whatsoever. What is happening? How do we fix such relationships? We are starting with you in Bamenda Assange Effect, Mrs.
Good evening once more, Mr. Leo. This aspect of cohabiting, or in bracket, can we stay, in quotes, we equally call it trial marriage. You know, people want to first of all try. They want to test and see, can you and I live together? Then the lady packs in. Most often it's the lady that packs in, and then they are testing to see if they can be husband and wife. Marriage is not something that you test. You can't test marriage. No. It's either you are going in, you take the bold step to go in for the marriage and you're ready to face whatever comes with it, or you stay. If you want to test it first before you finally, legalize it, you're just wasting your time, because who will have meat? Let's say you are hungry here now, you have meat at your disposal. Will you even bother to go and pay the meat, since the meat is available for you to be eating? No. Once a woman is already staying with a man, she's already acting like the man's wife. Sex, she's providing. House chores, she's doing everything, cleaning, everything that a man needs from a wife. So how will he even be encouraged to go and pay your bride price again when you are already acting like a wife to him, even after he has not yet married you? So women should not put themselves to this level where they make it difficult, because they're making it difficult for the men. If a man loves you, it is not the money. We have said it on this platform. It's not how much money you have that you can go for the marriage. Just do everything. If a man loves you, he will come and see your family, ask for your hand in marriage, do what is needed, have you, then do the civil status registry. It's important. And then have the blessings. The blessings there must not mean a wedding. You can have a pastor even bless you even at a traditional marriage. You can have a pastor bless you even after signing at the court. So, Kum stay is something that, even in as much as it's becoming normal, it is not the right way of going about marriage. Most people that have stayed together and end up having children, I think somebody wrote me a message like that for counseling. They have stayed together for 8 years, had 2 children. Now, in that kind of case, and the man is cheating again, in that kind of a case, the lady has made up her mind to go. What will you say? I think that's even the best thing for her to do. She's staying there on what grounds? Is she your wife? No. The law does not recognize that relationship. The family does not recognize it. Not even God. God does not recognize it too.
Okay. Please, can you come and fix this? You are welcome back. We are on Prime, looking at the relationship between. We were discussing about relationship between teachers and students. We were moving on to our second topic, but many persons have written that they were enjoying the first topic and are pleading that we continue discussing it. And certainly we are going to go back to the first topic. Eli, can we go back to the first topic? But can we have a link between this issue of cohabiting and what we were discussing previously?
Yes, exactly. Because many teachers in the past end up living with some of these students. It's not a joke. We have situations where you get a girl pregnant and you are forced to live with with the girl at home. It's a student, and some of them are living and still going to school. So your class, your student has become your cohabit. How do you call it? Someone you're cohabiting with, and then it's still your class, your student, or it's in another class in the school, and then she's monitoring every other young girl that is coming around you, and it becomes a problem. It is usually like that. Okay. Because when you end up get a student pregnant, you have no choice than to do what to say that, okay, come and be with me while you put to bed. Especially those students who are very stubborn and they keep the pregnancy to be about 3 to 4 months without telling you, and only to tell you after that I am pregnant. That's what happened.
So because we actually are here to serve you, we are going back to the first topic, and I will take some of your expressed worries, and then our panelists will discuss on it. This one says, I have evidence to share with you. Can you just send me the evidence after the program? I'll arrange if I can come to where you are. I'll do an interview with you. Interview that they will not see your face, they can just see your back, and then you explain what you are going through. We need to expose these things. Good evening to you all in the studio. I'm Vivian from Congo Brazzaville. Well, to me, I think the ladies are all at fault here. How can a lady dress in half skirt, half naked, thinking it's a school uniform, and enters the class where a young teacher boy is teaching, and you expect that the teacher should concentrate? No discipline should come from home before entering the school. Thanks. Your programs are really educating. Thank you very much. Oops. So many messages, it's difficult to read. Hello, Mr. Leo. Good evening to you all in the studio. Your programs are always the best. I'm enjoying them. And my regards to all the house, especially you. It has been a while. Happy New Year to you. Though late, I'm called Chenui Waters, writing from Gabon. Good evening to you, Chenui Waters. It's been long. Yeah, true. Good evening, Mr. Liu. In this case of what is happening to our young girls nowadays, I think most of the teachers are the ones who try to deceive or blackmail students who do and threaten to make a student fail if they do not accept them. I'm Estella, writing from Yaoundé. Mr. Leo, with this second topic, I am so worried for it's like you people are talking to me in all. But my question goes thus: I have done my knock door, apply for court because before the crisis boom, and I used what I have to do my wedding with this to sponsor her with, since we both have a child. How can I handle it now? Thanks, great minds. Yeah, at least you have done knock door. The case is different to some extent. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Female students need to be questioned too. Mulema, writing from Limbe, Newtown. I'm enjoying the program. Yes, but many persons think that teachers should sit up. It is true, you say it's a young boy, but this before qualifying as a teacher, because we would not want to agree that you are a charlatan who was taken from the quarters. Once you wear that cap of a teacher, it means that you know what it takes to go with that profession. Most of them went to ENS. I'm sure there was a course that actually was taught them. There is also what they call the ethics of the profession. I'm not sure there's any ethics in the teaching profession that says that teachers should go out with girls. We're talking about the rampant cases. We are not talking about the case where a teacher is looking for a wife and then spots one girl. Because somebody says that he is in, I don't know, Bafsam or Melong, where he knows teachers who are teaching in 3 schools and those teachers have 3 girlfriends in.
Yes, in those.
Would you get married to them? Should the teachers not sincerely sit up?
No, the teachers have to sit up. That is the truth. The teachers must sit up. Why must the teachers sit up? Because there are so many problems plaguing teachers all over the world. Well, maybe not all over the world, but this part of the world. We have seen that teachers hardly develop. And if you get to the point where it is sex that is going to limit your destiny, what is the essence? Why do you spend all your time working and at the end of the day, you cannot, live a good life because you have contacted some strange spirits who have limited your life? Because if you go and really evaluate, you see some of these teachers, you see somebody's entering the age of 40 and is not yet married because he has been satisfying that sexual drive with small girls. Because when you are already satisfying the sexual drive, you don't see the need of getting married. And when you see small girls coming to clean your house, cook for you and everything, you will not see the need to get married. But when you see that those things you have disciplined yourself and put yourself in, it will put you under constraint to be able to save in order to marry. That is exactly what this is all about. So we are calling the teachers, especially the male teachers, please, it's not just about you enjoying yourself. It's about you destroying your destiny, destroying your life.
Take the case of a teacher in a town like Boya. You have the University of Boya because you say that at least some of the university girls are more mature.
Yes.
They are everywhere in Boya.
Yes.
Take a teacher who is in Douala. The ladies in Douala, the whole place. So, yes. So, what is peculiar with your students?
No, Mr. Leo, if we say it's like if we even say you should be a teacher in Boya, teaching in Lycée Moliko, for instance, and then you should look for girls in the University of Boya, it's as if we are licensing fornication. No, I'm coming.
But one of the justifying that teachers are under
we were saying that this thing is not a one-way traffic. In as much as teachers have a very significant portion of the blame to carry by virtue of the fact that they are supposed to be people who mold the destinies of people and should carry a certain level of moral integrity to be able to do this. They should not continue doing it, but we were saying that there is a little mitigating circumstance, which is the behavior of these girls.
Yes.
Some of them in fact, some of them are. We have even had cases of teachers who testified that there are some girls who, forced themselves onto them. But now, when we are looking at it, there is something which is, I think, is a very serious issue that that contributes to this issue. When you look at teaching, teaching is not a profession per se. Teaching is a vocation. Yes, teaching is a vocation. A profession is a kind of something, an occupation you do for a livelihood, while a vocation is something like you are called onto, like the medical field. Doctors are into a vocation. Pastors are into a vocation. Teachers are into a vocation. These are things they do because they are called to, to exercise. But now, today, what we have is that when somebody leaves school and looks at how he's going to, flow with his tomorrow, the best thing is that, in fact, the family contributes money, buy a way for him into ENS. He enters ENS, comes out after 2-3 years, or they spend 3 years there, and has a matricle, and goes to school maybe 3 out of 5 days in a week, or 2 out of 5 days in a week, and has other businesses he does. That is not what the teaching profession or vocation was supposed to be. Yes. You're supposed to be somebody who is actually called a teacher, somebody who has the passion for it, somebody who has the desire to transfer knowledge. And if somebody who is a called teacher, gets into this, it will be more worrisome than people who just entered into. They are mercenaries. There are people who have entered into as adventurers. The teaching field has, it has a lot of people who are, in fact, they are quacks. Yeah, there's people who are quacks. It's true they have gone into it. Some of them have the charisma to transfer knowledge, but the core essence of who a teacher is supposed to be is not really who they are made of. Yes. That is one of the contributing factors. And we are saying that most of these things, some people were doing it out of ignorance. They thought, as a teacher, as Mr. Leo said, they're calling it fringe benefits. Yeah. But we are opening the eyes of our listeners or our viewers tonight to the fact that that is an evil practice. It's something that if you have been into it, you can desist from it. You can change that kind of lifestyle and embrace a new one, which says you as a teacher, you are not only supposed to be a pipe through which academic virtue is transferred from you to the students, but you are supposed to be a molder of destinies in being a model to them. Because the more you work in integrity, the more the students will see you, they will copy from you, they want to be like Teacher Julius, they want to be like Teacher Kevin, they want to be like Teacher this person, because they are seeing something in you that they can emulate. But when it's like that, when you are living in a life of sexual debauchery and all those kind of things, they will be looking at you as somebody who is, even some of them who give in to you, they will not trust you any longer. The respect will not be there. The reason why you see some students will be in class with their teacher, he could tell them, everybody, stand. They will either not stand at his request, yes, or they will reluctantly do it and stand at their own time they want. Why? Because already the bottom power is speaking at that level. The lady you have seen, in fact, he has seen your nakedness, and what intimacy of a man can you see apart from
like I said, if you see a young girl talking rudely to an elderly person and the person does not retaliate,
check out.
The man knows something.
Something is wrong somewhere. Yes.
Yeah, I have this one says, good evening, sir. I think something needs to be done. I have evidence of a teacher who sent me his manhood. So, sir, when a teacher sends a manhood, what does that mean? And he is my teacher. Yeah, very sad. How do you respect him after that?
The thing is that,
but that's also the implication when you sleep with 16 students in his
yes, this man who did that did not do it out of his own influence. There is something, the spirit of immorality is pushing him, yes, to do that. Because you did not even know that the person is going to keep the records, and it can implicate you. Because you are not thinking. If you see somebody doing that kind of a thing, it means that the person is just from watching a pornographic film, movie, and the thing is charging him, and he does not know how to download himself. And the only way to do it is to send this manhood in order to seduce that young girl. Because, you know, so some of these girls, they have, I don't want to call some kind of names because I know maybe children right now, they should be watching what we are saying. Some of these girls, you know, they like some kind of things. So when they see it like that, their body begin to charge and they begin.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. I enjoy your program. It's so lovely. Well, the second topic seems to be interesting. I can't wait to learn from it. Mr. Tonga from Lisombe village. We are going to be discussing about the second topic next week. Many persons wrote that we should exhaust the first topic. I come again once with an experience I had. A teacher back when you pay him a visit without an invitation and you misbehave, what he does is that he comes to class and calls you out. They tell the whole class what transpired between the two of you. Even he made love with you, he will tell the whole class. Okay? Too bad, eh? Too bad. Hello, we are interested in posting our stuff on. Okay, please, you get to me after the program. I ask why he does this, that he will tell you some of you are dogs. Go and get home training before you pay me a visit. Okay? That's a teacher to children. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I completely disagree with what a lady who said concerning people trying to cohabit before getting married. I'm not saying that it's right, but it's important in certain cases. If all a woman can offer is sex, this will help the man to know if the lady is a good wife or not. If she can prove her values in this courtship, a man won't hesitate to marry her. We're talking about cohabiting. We're not talking about courtship. We're talking about can we stay. Greetings, Mr. Liu and the panelists. Everything that is new is exciting, but in less than no time, it fades away since familiarity breeds contempt. Most people who get into come we stay do so for quest of satisfying their sexual drive without understanding the challenges of marriage. When children set in, they become trapped and limited financial means, and negligence and unwillingness to push the relationship further will cause them to become stagnant and in the long run get frustrated in the relationship. Okay? Why others were writing for the topic to be postponed? People are already contributing. Good evening, Mr. Liu. It's Haddison Refo writing from Gabon. Education in Cameroon has to be worked on. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your program, but the school authorities should also mind the type of dresses they allow girls to wear before coming to school. Most teachers are tempted due to the way of dressing. Flash is writing from Bamenda, but definitely the persons that are recruited, be the male or female, the school authorities, especially for private schools,
yes,
as well as the principals for government schools, they need to do something more before the recruitment of the teachers. It doesn't suffice for somebody to know how to solve maths, but the person should show proof of other things.
How will this proof really be gotten? Because one, people change over time. Two, there are people who will mask their true identity in order to get a job. Until they get the job, before their true identity begins to manifest. It's true they used to have this enquête de morality checks. It's true that can be done, but for me it is not a very strong point before the recruitment. It's supposed to be an ongoing process. It's supposed to be an ongoing process. As long as it's not ongoing, you can see angels yesterday turn into demons today.
Yes.
You can see people who came and, like, a fellow colleague will tell him, hey, you don't understand this function here. Yeah, I have three girls I stick with here. and you think you are missing out on something.
Yes.
Because a friend of yours who is a moral dwarf is pulling you into something and put you under that pressure.
Yes,
and before you know
it is influence.
Yeah, it's influence. Somebody will get into doing it. But if there is an ongoing process of moral transformation and moral education, I think before that kind of bad thought comes, there is a moral education or the spiritual influence that comes to shake it away.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Miles, writing from Mandama. I'm really enjoying the program with some of my teachers' friends here. Greet all the teachers for me. Tell them that Mr. Liu is going to do some investigations on what they're doing, please. Good evening to all in the studio. Mr. Liu, the world is full of evil. These girls nowadays are very dangerous because a teacher cannot ask a girl to go and look for kayamata to capture sugar daddies. My own advice to the teachers is that they should be strong in prayers. Pascal is writing from from Douala. Good evening to you, Pascal. But Apostle,
yes,
this is also validated by the communities, because most of these young teachers that we are talking about, or the elderly ones, they take these girls and they are strolling in quarters, and maybe we have some elderly persons who have called them to stop this relationship, or to ask them to stop what they are doing because they're destroying the daughter of somebody. Everybody seemingly is condoning it. We have some pastors around. These guys are living with these girls in quarters. They walk around. We have judicial authorities who may be living around. Nobody cares about that.
We're in that kind of a society where nobody cares about people's things anymore. Highest, they'll just talk about it and forget about it because everybody is almost in the whole thing. If it is something that it is only for a few people, it's going to be. It's just like if you pick 10,000 francs from the ground and give the person the owner of the money, it will be too strange for them. That is how it is. So when you know when you want to call out somebody, you also have your own challenge there. They'll call your own name and those kind of things. That's how these things work, especially in these rural communities. I am telling you this thing because these small communities, especially I'm citing Tico because I've lived there and I've seen how these things work in those places, especially the private schools in that area. It's terrible. These young boys, they just recruit them with that. They are not married. They are not even married, and they are not planning to marry. And to some, they will just tell the girl that I want to marry you. That will be enough visa to be sleeping with the girl. That's it. They just tell you that I want to marry you, and that will be enough visa. I had somebody, so one of them did that to one of my daughters. He said, I want to marry. So we were now, okay, since we saw that he was serious and he was trying to come closer and he was trying to be closer, we allowed him to feel free with the young girl, not knowing that he has his own intention. After he finished doing what he wanted to, he jumped now to other ones. And that is how this thing works. So we are trying to say that at these communities, people do it everywhere. So they said that I'm my own girl, that I'm my own girl, that it is common. But in an advanced society, in an advanced society like Douala, where you cannot even know who is living in that other quarter, who is your neighbor in this place, so it's not a problem. So a student can even leave school during school hours and meet a teacher who has already done his own teaching session and is at home, and then nobody cares. Nobody cares. Who is going to care? Even in the schools where they are the principals not also doing the same thing, and the other teachers not also doing the same thing. So who is going to complain? Everybody is pointing at their own. So
good evening, sir. A great topic tonight. 3 weeks ago here in a school in Yaoundé, I wouldn't like to reveal the name of the school. A student published the picture of the discipline master of that school online. He had an affair with her, and since they were exchanging neat images before they fell out, he began threatening to fail her. So she took it to the public. For the past 3 weeks now, this discipline master disappeared out of shame. Okay? Colette is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you, Colette. Glad to read from you. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm blessed from Bonaberi, Douala. Your program is just wow. I'm loving it, and I wish the teachers and learners are watching too. Though you students nowadays are terrible too. Okay? Please, Mr. Liu, I wish to get the contact number of Madame Asanji, one of the spokespersons in this program from Bomenda. Can you just get to me after the program and request for Madame Asanji's number? Hello, Mr. Liu. I'm Chalbe, writing from Gabon. Good evening to you all in the studio. I like your topic, but if you understand a little bit of science, science said the predominant force of a human science is the sight and hearing. It only takes a man to see, and it will only take a girl to hear before such things take action. Lots of messages from Gabon this evening. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Both the students and teachers need serious prayers. These things are not normal. Spirits lost. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I enjoy this your topic of today. I'm Salamatu writing from Fundong. Good evening to you, Salamatu. Can you greet everybody for me? Good evening, Mr. Liu. Teachers just like pastors pass through the same experience because the stories are many. Sakwe is writing from Bonaberry. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Pavet writing from Misaje. I think the issue of come we stay, especially with the ladies, they go in for come we stay following the guys they are dealing with. So I think we boys need to calm down ourselves and do what is necessary for a man to do. Greetings, Mr. Leo. I'm enjoying the show. Well, to me, the teachers should be self-disciplined and also have self-control. Queen Kara is writing from Boya. Greetings, Mr. Leo and panelists. The degrading moral situation in schools is a spilled over of what happens in our society. Teachers are to be blamed as well as students and parents. Parents bear a weighty responsibility in this situation because most parents have failed woefully in their responsibility. Juliet is writing from Boya. But now, the last question I'll ask all of us is, we say society is morally bankrupt. Schools were created to train and form future leaders. If we in schools are wanting to compare the morally bankrupt nature of our societies with what obtains in school, then there is no hope for the future. Should schools not be centers of excellence, centers of excellence, learning, training, molding, transformation? How do we now want to compare where we are expected to be transformed to what obtains from out there? What then is the essence of a school?
The thing about it is the schools we have today, and maybe the curriculum, I would say that it has a lot of loopholes, which most of what comes there is, just imagine they are teaching children history, literature, some kind of things, instead of teaching them science subjects that can better help them to better develop themselves and develop the society. What would a child be doing with literature in class when they are talking about romance, love stories?
Are you saying that science teachers are not indulging into this?
No, we are not saying that science teachers are not indulging into it, but we are saying that the majority of the teachers who find themselves into it are art teachers. They are common with that because they always look for ways to use those subjects they teach to talk about it romantically. I know of teachers who when they meet that point like that, that's how they are happy to talk about it, and that's how girls will be laughing, and that's how people will be laughing in class. That's how they're talking about. So I think that the curriculum of the school should gear more on development, should gear more on technology, so that people can concentrate and devote themselves, spending time, because you see, science students will hardly involve themselves more on this. That's the thing. Science students, especially those doing maths, physics, all those kind of things, they will not have time to even study, not to talk of going into those things. Few of them.
Yeah, but is it not surprising that we are saying that what is happening in schools is what obtains everywhere? Where then should our communities have hope in?
For me,
are they not sending the children there because they feel this is where their future actually is going to be crafted?
Exactly. It's supposed to be so. It's supposed to be a place where people go, and this permits me to, to say that the state is supposed to, because somebody said we should leave the government out of this. We can't leave the government out of this. When you look at, there's supposed to be a kind of an atmosphere. There is supposed to be a kind of a touch that is given to our school milieus. Like our prisons too. Our prisons are not supposed to only be places to go and punish people, but to be rehabilitation centers.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is this: we are supposed to get to that level where our school curriculum or the system, what we are taught in school, is completely overhauled. If I were to suggest the moral education, yeah, somebody said we should not only talk about morality, but now you can't go to a school, because when you talk about Christianity, that is what we prescribe to the world, but not everybody has embraced Jesus yet. If moral education can be taught from primary to the university, it will be a good contributor to the building of the moral fabric of the society. It should not be something that we think some people have grown to a level of maturity and they can't receive some kind of education. It should be something that we make it to be a part of it. Like when you talk about language, if we were to make Cameroon bilingual indeed, French should be from primary school to the university. I mean, consistently, you're not getting some French that will come and spend 30 minutes.
Yes.
So there are things that when you lay the foundation and build on that foundation, precept upon precept, gradually, it is going to sort some things out. This issue of our schools having these kind of things we're talking about is very disturbing. Very, very disturbing. We won't, time will even fail us to talk about the spiritual issues that end up as a part or as a consequence of this. The initiations that have resulted from all of this.
Yes.
These are not things we're supposed to hear from a school milieu, not from a church milieu. These are things that are supposed to be taboos within these milieus. But now that they are so rampant, look at from the reactions of it, it is something that is so rampant, it means it is disturbing, and so disturbing that no actor of society should leave any stone unturned in order to turn the tides around.
Okay.
Teachers, students, parents, government, we should put our hands on deck.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to your wonderful panelist, Elvis Brown, watching from Shell Newbell. And good evening to you, Daisy, writing from Kumba. Hello, Mr. Liu. This is Shaka from Bamenda. Teachers have a mature mindset than students and should know how to abstain from temptations such as from students. Okay, good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm called Cedric from Yaoundé, a source. Some of the students are the ones seducing the teacher due to their uniform size, and only a student with no vision go out with a teacher because you are parents and going out with a student and teacher. It's very, very bad. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I enjoy the program. Metro Blink is writing from Boya. Good evening to you, Metro Blink. Glenn says, Mr. Liu, in some rural communities, some mothers cook food and send their female children to deliver the food to male teachers, making it possible for such premature relationships to take place. Good evening. Good evening to you, Glennis. Yes, that is also it. Some actually hand their daughters to, I watched a video this morning where a lady was saying that some mothers go and tell the teacher that I want me to take special care for the women picking for school. And that is, yes, that is where the relationship starts.
Yeah, mommy don't give me permission.
Yes. Good evening, sir. I'm Elisa from Bomenda. For me, in the secondary sector, the students are more to be blamed because when they are asked out, they can turn the teachers down and inform their parents, because even the principals in some schools are not different, because men cannot control themselves, and so let the girls be the ones to resist them, and if they accept the love, the teacher with all the benefits that go with. Let's leave the government out of this. The government is the one making the girl to come to school without bra or sometimes not even putting on the underwear. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Eric from GBHS Betwa. My teacher fall in love with me. Okay. If the teacher's lost after his or her students, what then are they teaching them? It doesn't really matter if the student is seductive or not. The teacher has a responsibility, and it's their role to educate his or her students in every aspect. Emmanuel is writing from Limbe. Good evening. Ngwanwe writing from Kumba says teachers should not be blamed at all. See, like Kumba way picking them the sap na color clothes nga we expose things them. You expect per demand for do how He's a teacher. He has to tell the child not to dress that way. Teachers in my school, GBHS, Baile, New Road in Bamenda are good examples, okay? Yes, I think I know that school. Good evening, Mr. Leo. It has become a phenomenon that most of the female students go after teachers' marks. We should not blame only teachers and call for concern. Emmanuel writing from Bafoot. Yes, you go for marks because you don't want to study. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Teachers should be good models to their children, kids, pupils, and students, and the other way around. When such indecent acts are being discovered from such teachers, they should be dismissed and tried in court of law. Good evening. A very important program. I am David in Bamenda. Every woman or girl is seductive as God created them. Teachers just have to control themselves, just do the job they came to do. Punish teachers or students so that discipline should prevail in our schools, okay? Good evening, Mr. Leo. Like a program is Desmond writing from Kumbu. Greetings to you all in the studio. God bless you for the program. It's so enriching. I think strict disciplinary measures should be implemented on teachers and students who violate the rules. Meanwhile, parents shouldn't relent their efforts in training their children. Hannah is writing from Limbe. We have to end at this juncture. Thank you for coming, Apostle.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo. It was a wonderful time, and I want to say that we are always ready to give you advice and also to work hand in hand with all of us here. Come again next week, and you will see us at 7 p.m. every Tuesday.
Okay. We also want to say thank you to you for coming.
My pleasure, Celio. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having us on the platform. We appreciate our viewers and their contributions. It's such a wonderful thing.
We want to also say we are very grateful to you, Mr. Sanju Yvette, who came in from Bamenda, and to all of you who took time up to watch this edition of the program, especially those who sent our text messages. They are really very encouraging. We hope that those who would want us to do a special report on what they have gone through from teachers, they should get to me after this program. We will have to investigate. We have our ways of knowing whether what you are saying is the truth or not, but we need to also expose some of these things. Why not get to the authorities of the schools? Because if you are to contact us, I won't give that information without going to the school where you are claiming to have been abused or whatever. We want to thank you, Desmond, and also to you, Eli, for producing this program. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.